All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back for another deep dive. And today we're tackling a topic that's, well, let's just say it requires a good deal of caution.
Definitely.
We're talking about DIY tree removal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're out there, you're thinking, I can handle this myself, which
Mhm.
is, ambitious. But
It is.
before you even think about picking up that chainsaw, got to make sure you're approaching this whole thing safely.
Right.
So today we're going deep on safety using a podcast episode called Tree Removal Safety 101, How to Safely Fell Trees on Your Own Property.
Oh, yeah. Great episode. Tons of good information.
Definitely seems like it, and I think it's perfect for this deep dive.
For sure.
So first things first, for anyone out there who might be thinking, tree removal, piece of cake, set us straight.
Oh, it's definitely not a piece of cake. No way.
What are the risks if someone just dives in head first without, the right knowledge?
I mean, think about it. You make a cut. The tree, it doesn't always fall the way you expect.
Right.
You could end up with a tree on your shed, on your neighbor's fence.
Oh, no.
Even worse. Someone could get hurt,
Definitely don't want that.
It's serious stuff.
So this podcast episode, it sounds like it really stresses that pre-removal checklist.
Yeah. Yeah, like before you even touch the tree.
Yeah, like a pilot's pre-flight check, but for felling a tree.
Exactly, yeah.
Hmm.
Minimize those risks
Love that.
before you even start.
So first on that checklist, it seems like it's tree assessment.
Absolutely. Got to become a tree detective.
Okay, I like that, tree detective. So what are we looking for when we're, sizing up our target?
Well, you're looking for anything that might make the tree fall, well, unpredictably.
Mm-hmm.
Is it leaning one way or another? Are there any signs of, like, rot, disease, dead branches, things like that?
Oh, yeah, I see.
Those are red flags, make things way more dangerous.
Yeah, it's like the tree's telling us a story, right?
It is.
Got to listen to it before we, make any big decisions. And speaking of decisions, next on the checklist, escape routes.
Two of them, yeah.
Okay, wait, escape routes. Now it sounds like we're in an action movie or something.
Well, think of it this way. You've got this massive thing
Yeah.
coming down. You need to be able to move, get away from it fast.
Right.
45-degree angles, that's the key.
From the direction of the fall.
From the direction of the fall, yeah.
Got it.
And, no tripping hazards. Don't want to be tripping over a garden gnome at the last minute.
Uh-huh. Definitely not.
Yeah, it's serious.
So we've checked the tree. We've planned our escape. Can we finally talk about chainsaws now?
Almost.
Yeah.
But safety gear first,
Okay, yeah, right. Safety first, but, what are we talking about here? Like, what do I need to wear?
Full protection, helmet, safety glasses, hearing protection.
Oh, yeah, right.
Chainsaws are loud.
I can imagine.
And gloves, heavy-duty gloves,
Right.
And, of course, boots, steel-toed boots.
So we're dressed for battle.
Well, maybe not battle, but definitely a job that you got to be, you got to be careful.
Respect. Yeah.
So now the chainsaws,
Yes, the chainsaws.
the star of the show, right?
But gotta choose the right one for the job.
Right, of course. I mean, you're not going to take down a giant oak with a tiny little chainsaw.
No, it's like trying to cut a steak with a butter knife. It's not gonna work.
That's a good analogy.
So yeah, right size, make sure it's maintained, sharpened.
Okay, got it. What else do we need besides the chainsaw?
An axe can be handy, or a hatchet for smaller branches, or just as a backup,
Mm-hmm.
And then felling wedges, those are important.
Felling wedges, what are those?
They help you control the direction of the fall. You hammer them in.
Oh, okay, like little guides.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the tree from falling the wrong way.
Got it.
And then rope. You'll need rope.
Rope, yeah. Heard that's important.
Super important, especially for bigger trees or tricky situations. Helps control the fall. Okay, I'm seeing how much planning and preparation goes into this, and we haven't even, made the first cut.
Right.
What happens when we actually start, working on the tree?
Well, that's where the step-by-step felling guide comes in.
Okay.
That's what we'll dive into next.
Right. Sounds good.
Okay, so let's get into it, the actual, felling process.
All right. Yeah, the moment of truth.
Yeah, this episode, it breaks it down into steps, starting with something called the notch cut.
The notch cut. Okay, so this is where we really start, shaping how the tree's going to fall.
Exactly, yeah. You're creating this controlled weak point in the trunk so you can kind of, tell the tree where to go.
Okay, I'm listening. So it's like we're not just hacking away at it.
Okay.
It's more precise than that.
Think of it like you're carving a wedge, like a slice of pizza.
A pizza wedge. Okay, I can picture that.
But obviously much bigger.
Yeah, right. So how do we do this notch cut?
So first, you got to be standing on the side where you want the tree to fall.
Okay, right. Makes sense.
And then you make a horizontal cut about a third of the way through the trunk.
Third, okay.
And then above that cut, you make another cut, but this one's angled down.
So it's not just one straight cut.
No,
It's like,
two cuts
is it?
to make that wedge shape.
Okay, to make the pizza slice.
Exactly. And that angle on that second cut, that's really important. It needs to be open towards where you want the tree to fall.
So it guides it down.
It guides it, yeah.
Okay, but why not just cut straight through? Why even bother with the notch?
Good question. The notch, it's there to prevent the tree from splitting
Oh.
and falling in, some random direction.
It's all about control.
Control, exactly.
And speaking of control, the next step is the felling cut, right?
That's it. Yeah, now you're going to move to the other side of the tree,
Okay.
opposite the notch, and make another horizontal cut, a little bit above the bottom of that notch.
So we're cutting through the rest of the trunk, but we're not going all the way through.
You got to leave a few inches.
Oh, okay.
That's called the hinge wood.
The hinge wood, why?
It acts like a hinge. It holds the tree up, so you
Yeah.
can really control how it falls.
That's so cool. It's like we're, I don't know, manipulating this giant thing
You are.
with these like strategic cuts.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But how do we make sure it falls the right way, especially as we're getting close to the end there?
That's where those felling wedges come in.
Ah, okay, the wedges.
You hammer them into the cut as
Yeah.
you're going, and they help guide the tree, keep it from leaning back or falling the wrong way.
So it's like a balancing act almost?
Yeah, you got to be paying attention, listening for every little sound, every crack, every movement.
So we're watching, we're listening, and then when we sense it starting to go, we run.
Well, maybe not run, but definitely move quickly along those escape routes.
Right. 45 degrees.
45 degrees.
Got it. What happens then? Do we just like stand back and watch?
You can. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But the work isn't over yet.
Right. We've got a tree on the ground now.
Yeah, you got to clean up.
What do we do with all that?
First, get rid of the branches, the limbs.
Hmm.
Makes the trunk easier to deal with.
Okay, so it's like breaking it down.
Yeah, and then, depending on how big the tree is, you might need to cut the trunk into sections.
Makes it easier to move.
Exactly. Easier to move, easier to dispose of.
Okay, what about the stump? What do we do with that?
The stump, yeah, that could be tricky. You can grind it down with a stump grinder,
I've heard of those.
or you can use a chemical stump remover, or even just dig it out if you're feeling ambitious.
Wow, sounds like a whole other project.
It can be, yeah.
But for now, I think let's focus on like the big picture. What we've learned about tree removal safety.
Right. Good idea. I mean, we've covered a lot, but it's important to remember this is just the beginning,
Right, every tree is different, every situation.
Exactly. This podcast, it gives us a great foundation, but it can't cover everything.
Yeah, what if you've got a tree with a really bad lean or the soil's not what you expected?
Exactly. What if it's super loose or rocky? You might need to adjust your approach.
So it's not just about following the steps, it's about understanding why we're doing them.
Yeah, and being able to adapt.
Right, because what works for one tree might not work for another.
Exactly. And that's why this episode, it really emphasizes observation assessment throughout the whole process.
So it's like constantly evaluating, being aware of what's going on around you.
Yeah, and if you're ever not sure, if you feel like, I don't know if I can handle this
You
safely,
can call a professional.
you call a professional. Yeah, there's no shame in that.
No, not at all. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been, I don't know, it's been really informative, kind of eye-opening.
Yeah, it's a lot more to it than people think.
Yeah, tree removal, it's serious business.
It is. It's definitely not something to take lightly.
Okay, so we've gone through all the steps, got the gear, feeling pretty confident, right? Like we're ready to take on any tree now.
Well, confidence is good, but, real expertise that comes with experience.
Right. Of course, it's not just about knowing the steps.
Exactly. It's about being able to assess each situation, because
Yeah.
every tree's different.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the textbook stuff.
It is, yeah.
And forget that, out in the real world, things aren't always so straightforward.
Right. And that's where, this podcast episode, it's great for the basics, but it can't cover everything, right? What if your tree has a really weird lean?
Oh, yeah, or like the soil is totally different than you thought it would be.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe it's super sandy or it's all rocky. Suddenly those steps might not apply in the same way.
So we got to be ready to adapt, think on our feet.
Absolutely. Maybe you need to add extra ropes, more wedges if the lean's bad.
Oh, okay.
Or widen your escape routes if you're worried about the ground shifting under you.
It's a lot more than just making a cut, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And that's why this episode, they really stress the importance of observation,
Yeah.
really looking at what you're dealing with.
And being aware, like the whole time you're working.
Yeah, and if you're ever unsure, if you're thinking, maybe this is a bit too much for me.
You call in the pros?
You call it pros, yeah, don't hesitate. It's a sign of being smart, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Safety first, always.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been this deep dive. I don't know. It's been really, really insightful.
It's good to, go beyond the surface level.
Yeah, it's made me realize tree removal it's not something to mess around with.
No, it's not a joke. It's serious stuff.
Yeah, definitely got to approach it with caution, with respect,
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, but safety. Safety is paramount, always.
Well said. Well said. So, for everyone out there listening, thinking about tackling that tree in the backyard, remember, take what we've talked about, think it through, be careful, and if you're not sure, call a professional. It's better to be safe than sorry.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, and with that, another deep dive comes to an end. Hope you found this one helpful, and maybe even a little bit exciting. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe out there.